bring everything I command you. God even tells us what we're going to sacrifice to him and how we're going to sacrifice it to him. Remember in Leviticus, if we go back to Leviticus, he tells us even how to split the birds we're going to sacrifice in detail. So God tells us everything he wants done. 12, in the place that God picks, rejoice before the Lord your God, you, your sons and daughters, your male and female servants. God here is telling us that every worship service should involve the whole family. Nobody gets to stay home. Everybody's got to come and worship as a family. And we know when that happens, you have a stronger faith family. And don't sacrifice things wherever you want to. The sacrifices that God makes or wants have to be done at the temple that God chooses. And here's where we start getting into kosher. Verse 15. Nevertheless, you may slaughter your animals in any of your towns and eat as much of the meat as you want. So before the Israelites got to the promised land, when they were in the desert, all the slaughtering of animals happened at the altars. And the priests did all the slaughtering. So now God's saying, you're going to be so numerous, you're going to be so spread out, you don't have to bring your food to the temple to get slaughtered. You can do it by yourself, but it's got to be done a certain way. And that's how they got the rules of kosher. Verse 16, you must not eat the blood, because we know blood is life. So God is saying you can't eat the blood for a couple reasons. One is it's part of the sacrifice to me. It gets sprinkled on the altar. Second, it's life. And you are not to take a life and eat life. And that's also in the supplementary document, why you can't eat blood. You must not eat in your towns the tithe. So anything you're going to give to God, you can consume, but it has to be part of worship. You can't just do it wherever you want to. Verse 19, be careful not to neglect the Levites as long as you live in your land. Remember, the Levites have no property. They were given a little bit of land, but they're supposed to work for God all the time. They don't have time to farm and do anything else. So they're supposed to give a tithe to the Levites, kind of like a tax. 21, verse 21. If the place where the Lord your God chooses to put his name is too far away from you, you may slaughter your animals from the herds and flocks the Lord has given you, as I have commanded you, and in your own towns. But once again, don't eat the blood. So God is restating again, you have to kill the animals in a kosher manner. And that continues to today. When we lived up in Green Bay, there was a large processing plant. And at the processing plant, they had a rabbi there when it came time to slaughter the animals. And the rabbi would watch over the killing process. I'm not sure if he watched over the entire killing process or just the meat that was going to be declared kosher, because it has to be killed very humanely. And he was there to be sure it was. That's really about it. We get down to the last verse of chapter 12, and God says one last time, see that you do all that I command you. Do not add to it or take away from it. That's another thing we're going to see throughout Deuteronomy, that God is telling us that his laws are perfect. They contain everything. Don't add or subtract from it. But we know the Pharisees added quite a few more laws. I think they ended up with 632 laws. So they did what God told them not to do. Add more and more laws on. Any questions?
Do you have any questions?
Okay, so hopefully when we get through the worst of this COVID issue, we can meet again on Wednesday nights, because if you remember when we used to meet on Wednesday nights, we went a lot longer than 40 minutes. Sometimes we would go an hour, hour and a half, and we had some good discussions.
Do they preclude double booking, like getting two in a row? Or someone else could book one and someone else book the other? Just saying.
What's that?
Well, on the Zoom meeting, you're limited as to the amount of time.
40
But
minutes.
you could have one after the other, even if someone else had to cut it up.
That's true.
Very clever. Yeah.
That is very true. I didn't think about that, but we could do that. Or what? Another thing.
Limit the individual, but even someone else could do it.
Yeah,
The second one.
I didn't think of that. One thing I was thinking about though, we've got just over a minute left. Governor Pritzker came out with his 5-phase plan, and I'm going to wait to see what the bishop says. But if we are precluded from meeting face to face for like till July or August, I think I might ask the church to see if we can buy a Zoom subscription, and then we would have unlimited time. I'd have to see how much it costs. I'm not sure even what it costs.
I know from another group, I think it's about $20 a month.
20. Okay, so that's not that much.
No.
Okay, all right. So I'll take a look at it, and I'll talk to leadership.
Cool.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you guys. And remember, if you need some notes from earlier weeks, send me an email, and I'll send you those notes. Or if you don't have a printer, let me know, and I'll print them. And we have some plastic binders attached to the front windows at church. I'll put them in there with your name on them, and you can pick them up there. Okay?
So, Jeanette, do you think you're going to need some notes? No, that was Jim.
Oh,